Welcome to our channel, One Rule. We basically made this channel out of a desire to be more consistent with creative endeavors. By we, I mean me and some of my friends. This channel was formed out of a desire to hold ourselves more accountable by uploading something art-related every single week. What better way to kick this art channel into high gear than to have an art challenge? So I challenged my friend Joanna to spend a couple hours this week out of her busy schedule to create a piece of art. I have this set of art dice here, and on these art dice, there's lists of styles, mediums, subjects, and colors. So based on whatever these dice land on, we're both going to have to create a piece of art based on that. And after we've done this within the 2-hour time frame, we're going to hop on a video call together and talk about what we think went well, share our pieces with each other, and then it's up for you, whoever's watching this, to decide who you think did better. Now, the results of the first dice roll are already in, so the first challenge will be, drum roll. The first challenge that we have is a black and white landscape of plants and trees in an impressionist style using markers and/or ink.
Without looking at anything or without actually being in front of something, like observing something directly, I just kind of like went for it. One of the first things I did was I leaned into ink first. That was the medium I chose first to kind of set like a base. And I started very wet, and I literally let the medium do its thing, like literally move and dry as it wanted to. And then I kind of like morphed from there. And so the thing that I kept reminding myself was, okay, I can't get into the weeds with this, unintended. I can't like get really like detailed, just keep it really basic shapes. So I had a ton of stuff on my table, so I can pull from anything. I had things like forks, like I had a fork, I had a wooden reed pen, I had paintbrushes, both round and square, so that I can block in different kinds of shapes very easily. So I was really thinking about like the application of the medium too. I also went in with like, there were moments, for example, I had like a square brush and I just kind of went in with a wet square, just kind of like get like a really chunky kind of shape going. And then markers were more at the end. I didn't really think much when I first put the ink on the paper. I just kind of went with it and I was like, all right, this feels like this kind of a landscape. So let's kind of lean in that direction. And then I just kind of kept building on whatever direction it felt natural to go in. And I just added shrubs and plants and flowers as it felt for the piece. So it all came from my head.
I took a picture when I was outdoors, and that's actually what I used as the basis for the Impressionist piece that I did. So like I was trying to capture the feeling of this like moment that I took a picture of. Honestly, I just didn't have the confidence to go out there for an hour and a half and do it live on the spot while people are walking by on this like busy walking trail. I started with pen because it was lighter, so I could, be careful with it because I didn't have any white to bring out highlights afterwards. So I'm not trying to render it realistically, I'm just trying to capture the energy. So if there's like a lot of leaves in an area moving in all different directions, like I sort of made all the lines very quick in all different directions to capture the energy of that. I started to use like darker colors to push more of the space back, and eventually I would say it's not super accurate physical representation or like rendering of what I took a picture of, but I think it's close in terms of capturing the spirit of it. So Joanna, what was this challenge that we just had to do?
We had to do a landscape, black and white, impressionist style piece with markers and ink.
Did you use both markers and ink?
I use both markers and ink. I feel like already ours are gonna be completely different feelings.
Yeah.
But here, I'll go ahead and share mine here. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Honestly, my favorite part, this part of the tree. This was a happy accident, like this upper corner. And so this is a wash. And when I added the ink in there, it kind of just traveled in this direction and bloomed in that direction. And I was like, oh, it's like wind blowing through like a weeping willow or something. And I was like, I quickly just like tried to get the paper to stop so I could capture this moment. And I also really like my little rose bush. I think it's a loose representation of a rose bush.
It's nice that the entire wash across the background serves its purpose where it feels like it's in the distance, and that's why it's a little bit less rendered out, but that's what gives it that, you know, impressionistic feel. This is my piece.
Bro.
It kept it very loose, trying to keep it like gestural, so you'd probably be hard pressed to find anything that's like very representational in it. It's more like just the feeling of it.
Imagine being on a bike and then looking over your shoulder and then seeing the path behind you and in motion. Like that's what this kind of feels like. The way like your gestured lines go, like the energy of them makes me feel like I as a viewer am also in motion.
I'm glad to hear that it sort of gives that feeling of motion, like we're moving, you know, down that path, like it's like pushing us down. Or I actually really like the idea of turning behind your head, because then it's something you don't even have time to process, so you are looking at it very like viscerally. And yeah, I love that idea. That's probably what I would go with if I wanted to put a little description next to this. I think what I would do differently is try and play more into the spirit of Impressionism, and maybe like actually stay there and do it in person instead of representing, you know, rendering from a photo.
The process of making it, you think you would go back and redo that?
Yeah, I think so. I've done it before, like years ago, but I don't know. I just felt self-conscious about being there for like an hour, bring a whole like big easel out, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's something I'd feel more comfortable with doing with somebody else, you know, like doing with a friend or something. I don't want people to think I'm there for attention, but maybe I just shouldn't care. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't care.
Yeah. I'm pretty satisfied with how they came out. I think yours looks really, really freaking cool.
I think yours looks really freaking cool.
Thanks. So I guess anybody watching, decide, you know, which one of us made theirs more impressionistic-y.
Impressionisty.
Impressionisty, yeah.
That's a funny way to put it. Let us know.
We'll do this again, so if you have any ideas for our next challenge, maybe leave a comment.
Yeah, because the whole point here is to keep creating art. Let's challenge each other.
Yeah, let's do it.